Hey guys, what is going on? Shaquan here, and we're gonna chat a little bit today about mastering currency pairs in the forex market and tips for trading success. So I'm here on TradingView, and I am here on Instagram. Now, I'm so used to saying that from last year. TradingView and YouTube. So I'm gonna be on here with you guys for a few minutes, and if you just come in and you catch the replay, I think that's good too, right? Because I'm realizing it's like one, and people are at work, right? And I want to come on and get on more at night, but I coach my son's basketball team, and then my daughter plays soccer, so it's not always possible for me to get on um, late at night. And then by the time the night comes, y'all, I'm tired and mama want to go to sleep. Okay. So that's just, yeah, it ain't going to happen for me getting on at night sometimes. But yeah, so let's go over we're going to go over some analysis today. But I also want to talk about trading success. Okay. I was listening to a podcast. It's a music podcast. Um, it's called R&B Money. It's with Tank and Jay Valentine, and they bring people on. So, fun fact about me, you guys, I don't listen to a lot of music with words. I've stopped doing that a lot recently. Last year was the first time I started to do it. Sometimes I listen to music with words, but I just don't like my emotions being all over the place, right? I can hear like a good song, and then another song comes on, and then I want to go slash a tire or something. I don't know. I want to get crunk. I want to twerk. I don't know. But I just feel like my emotions be all over the place. And I decided last year to stop doing that, right? Hey, Miss Kelly, how you doing? But anyway, so I heard him say something and it resonated with me, and I wrote this down. Am I willing to do everything I need to do to become a successful trader? I've been trading for a few years. I've been trading for 7 years. I've been teaching for 4 or 5 of those 7 years, about almost 5 of those 7 years. And I've been through the ups and downs as a trader, an investor, investing in the stock market and crypto market and things like that. And it takes a while to find your groove. And I think success is subjective. Like what success can look like to me may not look like success to the next person. Some people may just say money is their success, right? Which obviously we all want to make a lot of money. Like that's what we're here for. But my success can look a little bit different. I got married young. I've traveled the world young. So I don't have a desire to travel like most people. Um, I want to travel. I can still travel. I'm still traveling, but it's not as much as it was in my 20s. I mean, I've been to Amsterdam. I've been to Portugal. I've been to Italy. I've been to France. Like, I've been to a lot of places in my life. Germany. I lived in Germany for 4 years. So it's like that's out of the way, right? But now it's like success to me as far as what it relates to trading. Am I being doing what I can do to be successful? To me, success is contributing to my family. It's like my husband still works, right? And he says no matter how much money I make, he's still going to work. So to me, success is I'm able to be by his side making money. Another part of success to me is spiritually. Like I am learning about my feminine energy. I'm learning how to just sit in peace as a woman. But I'm learning what that looks like to me. I'm 33 years old. It's not like I had the best childhood. I didn't have the hardest, but there are a lot of traumas from my childhood that's affected the way I trade, right? Um, and so it's like I'm growing spiritually, understanding who I am and understanding who God is to me, and walking in that light of God, right? So I'm learning to be centered and what centered looks like to me. Fun fact, if you don't know, I'm a triplet. So it's two more of me. And they're more outgoing. They like more of the fast life. For me, I'm more slowed down. I'm introverted. I don't need to be around a lot of people, right? But then that leads to my energy. I'm not always around a lot of people. Even when I teach, I don't teach big groups. Like I love one-on-ones because I'm able to have a relationship with somebody. I'm able to have an intimate conversation with someone as far as getting to know them, getting to help them, getting to know who they are and what they need, and it builds character for me, right? It helps me be relatable to that person where I'm not in a room with hundreds of thousands of people because I am going to close myself off. Like I'm going to become small because I'm so introverted, right? Even though I can get anybody to talk to me, but it's just personality. And then I like to help other people with their success in the market as well. That's my purpose. My purpose is giving back the gift of knowledge. That is my purpose, and I've always been a doer in that way. That's my servitude. But and that leads me to the charts now, because when I started trading and watching YouTube and stuff, everything just seemed so hard. And I hated the fact that it took me so long to get simple concepts. And my gift that God gave me was, Shaquan, you can simplify this market for people. Like, you don't have to make it hard. So take this and find a way to break it down to make it easier. So one of the first tips I want to talk about as far as being a successful trader is, y'all don't have to spend hours on your chart. There was a time when my friend used to trade. He and I would spend like maybe 12 to 13 hours on a chart, if not more. And honestly, like, that was really time consuming. It was honestly time consuming. And it got to the point where, we both had our own lives. We were both in these marriages. And it just got to the point where it just like trade, not even trading, but watching the charts was all that we did. Right. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not happy doing this. I got anxiety, I got depressed. And so if you want to be a successful trader, I do think it's important to get a routine down. And one thing I say about these time frames are going to show you exactly when you need to show up. So for example, I want to do a quick chart example really quick to walk you guys through what I mean. Now, every one of you guys here who's watching, or whether you're coming from TradingView or YouTube, just flow with me for just a quick second. Or even if you're watching the replay, this is really important. So I'm a swing trader. You may be a day trader. But what would that mean to you for how you enter your trades, right? This is important. So for me, I look at higher time frames: 4 hour, 12 hour, daily, weekly, monthly. But I'm not looking at those time frames every time I'm on the chart. I'm not looking at the same time frames. I'm looking at the time frame that got my money. I'm looking at the time frame that has my trade right now. So let me do a quick example, all right? I want to look at the daily time frame really quick with you guys, okay? So on the daily time frame, you guys can see that from Monday, February the 27th, up to Monday the 6th, which is a whole week, right? That price consolidated on AUD USD. And y'all can see today we got a big bearish candlestick. This is called volatility or high momentum. We got high volatility today. And this is something that I teach. This is called a market condition. All right. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind, because this leads me to tip number two. I wasn't on my charts watching this the whole day or the whole week or whatever the case may be for that consolidation. I'm not doing anything at this point. And notice that I'm not about to tell y'all to plot a level, and I'm not about to tell you to plot lines on your chart, a trend line or anything. When it comes to trading, when I say know the time frame that has your money, this is not the time frame that has my money. I can't do anything with this time frame right now because we just had such a huge drop. And with me being a trend trader, when I'm looking at my strategy that I have, what's up, James? When I'm looking at my strategy, I'm like, okay, well, I just need to, and I set pending orders now. I just need to set a pending order on a specific time frame that I can read well. So a rule of thumb I give my clients is, if you can't understand what's going on in the time frame, go up. If you need more information, go down. That's it. Okay. So I'm going to go down to my 12-hour time frame. You know what I see on my 12-hour time frame that I could not see or did not see on the daily? Of fluctuation with more information, right? So what I can see now is, I can see the lower low, I can see the lower high, I can see now the new lower low. And I don't know if this is where price will stop, but what I'm thinking about are my objectives, right? Like, what do I want to take out of the market? What do I want from this specific trade, especially based on my goals? And we're going to talk about that as well. So I'm on the time frame that's giving me what I need, and this is where I can set my pending order. Now here's the thing about this: when you guys are trading, you should know quickly if you have a trade or not. If you don't have a trade, you move on to the next pair. What I see a lot of traders do is they're like, okay, well, I don't have a trade on this time frame, let me drop down. Or I don't have a trade on this time frame, let me drop down. And what happens is sometimes your trading style can now become out of sync with the time frames, right? I hear this a lot when I'm doing consultation calls with people who may want to work with me. I do one free consultation call with people, and I'm listening to the way they trade, and they're naming all these time frames, right? They'll say, well, and this is how it mostly goes. Well, I use the monthly, and then I use the weekly, and then I may use the daily to plot support and resistance, and then I may use the 4 hour to plot more support and resistance, and then I'll enter on the 1 hour. And you know what my question is? My question is, okay, well, if you're plotting all these levels, if you enter the trade on the 1 hour, are you holding the trade from a weekly level to a weekly level, a daily level to a daily level, or a 4 hour to a 4 hour level? And you know what they say? No. They've done all that work and they're not even using all of those levels. And then what ends up happening is they even erase everything after they get stopped out or take profit, and then they change everything else. They use more levels and it looks different, and it's a lot of work, right? So then you can even see the entry at that point. You missed it. You missed out. So the thing about this is, if like I know right now I have a trade, but I'm gonna set a pending order because I don't have a trade today on this pair, right? So as you guys can see here, like I have this square. This is my estimation zone, and what this zone is telling me is, I need to wait for price to pull back in order for me to have a trade going with the trend. Now I'm back in my trading style, being a trend trader. So that's another tip. Trade within your style. Trade within your style. Trade within your personality. It doesn't matter about what anyone else does. What makes trading work for you, make it work for you. A lot of people say, well, Shaquan, how do you draw your estimation zones? It really doesn't matter how I draw my zones. What matters is that I can see my zones. It's psychological and it's personal. When I teach people about the zones, when I teach them why I have them on my chart, when I teach them to see it for themselves, how they're going to plot it, trading starts to make more sense to them. So for example, my zone is below 0.67817. Why? Because that's where I'm going to be placing my stop loss. Price just made a new low. What does that new low mean to me? What does this new lower high mean to me? I'm going to give it a personality. I'm going to give it a character. I'm going to give it an action. You see where I'm going? So now this goes into this. You got to break down your goals into smaller, reachable objectives. Don't try to make $1 million in one trade. Don't try to reach 1,000. Like sometimes what I see traders do, and you might be this person, it's okay. You might be trying to make all your money that you want to make in one trade, or two trades, or three trades. Cool, but that's going to hurt you in the long run. Because when you get that big loss or that blown account, yeah, you may keep going for it. You may keep putting money in the market, but that's money that could have been saved. You could have broke that goal down. So most people now work in prop firms. They're working with prop firms, right? So I wanted to give an example of what I mean and put this all together. Let's just say y'all had a $10,000 account, right? You got this $10,000 account. You can trade it. You're trying to reach 10% because that's what most prop firms want you to reach is 10%. You got to ask yourself this. Based on my system, is it a system that fits me? Are these rules that fit me? Hey Valdez, how you doing? Hey Augustine, how you doing? But you got to ask, is this a system that fits me? Is this a winning system for me? Everyone's system is not your system. Like when I consult with people and they're telling me about their strategy, I'm asking, is this one that you developed, or is this one, have you adopted someone else's system? Because that's important to know. I need to know, are these your rules or someone else's rules? Because if you're trading someone else's rules, you're not going to understand them fully. They're not in your back pocket to walk you through it. But if you're trading your rules, do you have a grave understanding of how to adapt to this market change? Right? So you got that. That's the first thing first. When people trade my system, I help them adapt it to who they are, right? And I'm learning to do it a lot more with their time frames and things of that sort, right? It takes a while, even to get into a coaching group. It takes a while, and I've been doing this for a while now. So with this particular setup, one thing you want to do is also trade above your minimum risk to reward. I've been having my clients write that down. What is the minimum risk to reward that you're willing to take on the trade? I'm learning I'll only take a 1 to 2 now. I used to say I'm not a stickler for 1 to 1s, but I kind of I'm not anymore. I'm a stickler now to say I need more than a 1 to 1. I need more than a 1.5. I need a 1 to 2 risk to reward trade. I need to double my risk, right? Now, what you're doing here when you're putting your system together, one, you're watching the trend. Y'all know I'm big on trend. I'm big on trading with the direction of price. Since price made a lower low, it is inviting us to trade it. Y'all ever heard in real estate where realtors say they only want to talk to motivated trade sellers? I want a motivated seller. Why do you want a motivated seller? Because they're the ones who's going to sign that contract to get the money in your hands to your buyer. That's why you want a motivated seller. Well, you want a motivated currency pair that's telling you what to do. You want that, right? So if I got a lower low and I know price needs to pull back, in my mind, I'm not trading the pullback because I'm not counter trend trading this. I'm going to wait for the money to align for me. That's just who I am. You may be that counter trend trader, and that's okay. Once again, it has to be a system that fits you. But this is a 2.31 risk reward trade. I want y'all to think about what I'm about to say right now because it's important when it comes to a risk management strategy, especially when dealing with prop firms. When you say I have a 2.31 risk to reward ratio trade, that does not mean you're going to make 2.31% all the time. And so you have to be careful with what you speak as you trade. My position size in a trade like this is going to be 0.5% because I don't want to risk a full 1%, especially when I'm looking at my drawdown limit and when I'm looking at my daily drawdown limit, because I trade more than one pair. Sometimes I could have more than one trade running, and I want to make sure I don't reach my daily drawdown. So that part is important. So what I do is I decrease my position size by half now. Okay. And this is how this can look. Let me walk you guys through what that can look like. So this trade here is a 58 pip stop loss. And now price is still moving down. I want you guys to hear me well. This is a pending order that I would set on this trade, meaning I'm going to let the market trigger me into the trade when it pulls back to my zone. All right. I could get more than 133 pips. By the time this thing pulled back, this could be a 2.5 risk reward trade. It could be a 1 to 3 risk reward trade. Who knows? But I'm just going to go by what we see right now. So this is 133 pips, right? Now, I'm trading with a $200,000 account, but I'm just going to use $100,000 for an example. Now, let's just say that my position size is 0.5%. Now you guys see here where right now, like what we're looking at is a 2.29 risk reward trade, right? So that means by risking 58 pips, I'm going to risk $500 to gain $1,146 plus or minus spread commission swap, right? Because this is a trade that I may have to hold overnight. If this is a sound decision to you and all of your rules are met, you have to take the trade. No matter what happens, one, you got to be okay with saying, I could potentially lose $500. And then you got to be okay with saying, and I like the outcome of potentially being able to make $1,146. When I learned that you have to be okay with what happens in your trade, whether you lose it or whether you win it, the stress of trading started to lighten. Like the burden of being in a trade started to lighten. And then when I realized something like this as well, no matter what my stop loss is, and I realized this years ago, based on my position size, or my, I'm sorry, my stop loss, no matter what my stop loss is, when I have a position size in mind, I know how much I'm going to lose, and I can't lose that amount. Y'all, this stop loss can be 100 pips. I still cannot lose $500. I see a lot of people ask, well, Shaquan, what's the best lot size? You should never choose your lot size. Let me say that. That is my personal opinion. I don't believe anyone should ever decide their own lot size. And here's why I say that. You could be over trading or under trading, which means you could risk too much as far as the lot size go, or you could risk too little as far as the lot size go. And then what's going to end up happening is you may be leaving money on the table, or you're taking too much off the table. And especially if you're trading a prop firm, you might lose that account very quickly, or you might get to your profit goal quickly, but then once you reach it, you might fail the challenge, or lose the account because you never knew you were risking too much. And so there are three numbers that chooses your lot size for you without you even having to do it. And it's simple math. It's simply your account balance times your risk percentage, where in this case it would be 0.5% for me, divided by your stop loss in pips. That is how your lot size is calculated. Those three numbers. And then based on that calculation, that's how we come up with the units, aka the lot size. Now I'm gonna put this back. My true um my true reward gain, because I'm using a 0.5%. Remember, I was talking about that risk reward ratio. Even though it's saying that I could make 2.29%, because I'm halving my risk percentage, I have to half that. So I'm probably only making on this trade like 1.14% on this trade. 1.14, that's the true gain. Now, if I was risking 1%, I want to show you guys what this looks like. Let's say you just say you had $100,000 account and you're risking 1%. That means you can't lose $1,000. That means that you can gain $2,293. Now you're going to get the full risk to reward. Now you get the full ratio. So that's the true rate, the true reward gain. Everything we do is math here. I always do math with people, especially when I'm training them one on one. Every trade we go through, we do math. We do the numbers together. I'm like, okay, you had a 1 to 3 in this trade. You had a 1 to 2 in this trade. You had a 1.2 or say a 2.27 in this trade. What does the loss look like? What does the win look like? And then every time you win and that money is added to your account balance, what does the new risk look like? Right? But when you put your system together and when you really play with this is like chart art to me. It's really fine. It's chart art. When you put it together and you make it personal and you have your objectives, trading becomes it becomes personal. It becomes intimate. It really does. And you can make the decision to make this fun. You can choose to make it intimate, or you could choose to make this a hard journey. I mean, trading is already hard within itself. But the way you do everything, the way you learn, the way you grow, the way you speak, you know? But if you have objectives, like this trade here, if I'm speaking to myself and I'm like, okay, like if I had a 0.5% ratio and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to get 10%. If I win this trade, this is gonna add a percent into my account. Is this working towards my goal? Now, if I lose the trade, I could lose 0.5%. Am I okay with losing this? And if you're okay with the outcome, you just gotta go from there. And that's it. I'll give you guys another example. If you were on the live with me yesterday, y'all saw me talking about this trade right here that I'm in on USD JPY. And I was telling you guys about this trade. And I was telling you guys that if I lose this trade, I lose $976. But if I win this trade, I win $2,493. And I have my break even point. And you guys can already see that price is almost close to my break even point, right? And so I have my parameters. And so now this trade, once it hits break even, is going to add peace to my life. It's going to help me stay centered. Like I'm already in the good mood. So it's going to keep me zen. And how you think I'm going to react around my family? I'm going to be happier around my children. I'm going to be happier around my husband. Like I go coach basketball tonight. I'll be trying to, cross over the kids and shoot a 3 point on the kids, but it's going to keep me in a good mood. But even if the trade did not go my way, guess what? Can I still function in the same headspace? Can I still function in the same mental capacity? That is the question. Last year, I wasn't able to. The year before, it was a good year, but I still saw these emotional things that I had to deal with. And I think every trader, when they're finding themselves as a trader, they all go through these things, right? But if you're still struggling and you're still, you're learning how to grow, you'll get there. Or if you already got it, that's great. Go share that knowledge with other people because that's what you're supposed to do, right? Hey, Mike, how are you? Hey, Edwin, how are you? How are y'all doing? How y'all doing? Okay. So yeah. So those are just a few quick tips, you guys. Really, and when I give tips, they're so simple. Like I know sometimes y'all want to hear, oh, you should trade with this, and you should use this structure, and you should use that structure. I think there are so many YouTube videos that talk about that, and they're not bad. Honestly, they're not bad. I think you should find what works for you, though. If I'm being honest with you, I think you should really find what works for you. But trading is more mental than anything. Trading is mental, and I think what gets a lot of people stuck is the money part. I'll be honest with you, it's the money part. Recently, I switched over my clients and students I mean, we already got the blueprint, TMP. I mean, my blueprint is solid, right? It's a beautiful blueprint. But what I've switched them over to doing is saying, instead of trying to trade the blueprint, why don't you trade your beliefs about the blueprint? Why don't you do that? Why don't you write down a goal and then make it into smaller goals? And those are called objectives. And then why don't you trade what you believe about those? And the person who I'm getting this from is called Van Tharp. God rest his soul. He was a trading psychologist. And yeah, James, I'm back to playing ball. I'm back to coaching. Yeah, I'm playing. But he was a trading psychologist. And man, like reading his books and reading his blogs opened my mind. He said this. He says, we don't trade the markets. We trade our beliefs. And at first I was like, huh. I was really intrigued. I said, I wonder what he means by that. And when I saw what he meant by that, he says, think about your what you trade. What do you believe about price action? What do you believe about the hammer? What do you believe about the inverted hammer? What do you believe about your market structure? What do you believe? Like if you trade trend lines, what do you believe about the trend lines? Like he's asking you about the impact of what you trade and what it means to you personally, right? It's like God. Why do you believe in God? What do you believe God for? What is the impact that God has on your life? And he's making you think of, why do what I do? Why do I believe what I believe? Because sometimes you'll find you picked up somebody else's beliefs and it's not really yours. And when I started to understand that, I was like, oh my gosh, I get it. I went from being this girl who thought I had to spend hours on a price chart to now I trade and I do pending orders. And I probably trade, if I had to talk about my work, less than an hour a week. Technically, I mean, I'm good at marking up my price charts, but the actual work is less than an hour. And if I could make thousands of dollars for an hour of work, I why not? The hard part is mastering this though. The hard part is mastering not exiting a profitable trade too early. The hard part is not exiting a losing trade too early that can turn back around for you. The hard part is holding on to your rules and trading them the way they should go. The hard part is not taking someone else's trading decision. Like if they say they're going to buy, but you're looking for a sell, the hard part is sticking to your beliefs and your trade and not theirs. The hard part is not taking the signal. But y'all see what I mean, right? Those are the hard parts, especially when you're new to trading. You're going to feel like this person knows more than me. This person is smarter, so I should go with them. You know what I do with my people? I make them the smart people in the room. Like, no, 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 no. You will not trade what they trade. Let's find your road. Let's find your path. You are valuable. You are smart. You can do this. I don't care about them. I care about you. I care about you. I care about making you a hit. You see what I'm saying? And that's what you got to do in trading. So if I'm gonna give y'all tips, I'm gonna give you something to help you, make you think, make you powerful, make you impactful. Don't give your value away by deeming someone else smarter than you. You should learn from other people. Yes, when you learn from other people, you should take it and then look at it and say, what do I believe about this? And the things that you believe, use it. And things you don't believe, you throw it away because it's not meant for you. It's not. Whether it's a job, a career, children, marriage, being single, whatever in this life, you got to find your purpose and what's going to work for you. I love telling people when I teach them, I love telling them, I'm going to find your value and we're going to trade it. I'm going to help you find your value. Like I'm going to see your value because that's going to add peace to your life. We're going to find your value because that's your purpose. Let's let's find your value. That's it. Hope you like those tips. I'm gonna go back over them really quick. One, success is subjective. Well, write down what that looks like to you. You don't need to spend hours on a chart. You don't need multiple lines and levels to be successful. You can know, you should know when you have a trade quickly. And then quickly, I mean like if you can look at a chart and see that you got it, you got it. If you know you don't, move on. And then the next tip, the last tip is to break down your big goals into smaller objectives. If I win this trade, can I cross this off my list to say, oh, instead of me needing 10%, now I only need 9%. Oh, I won this. Instead of me needing 9%, now I only need 6%. Dang, I just lost this trade. So now I need 6.5% because I just lost I just lost 0.5%. That's a small number compared to those wins, right? You see how that goes? Oh, I just won the next trade. Now I only need 2%. Ah, dang, I just lost that trade. Now I need 2.5%. So I'm speaking into existence. I'm keeping my losses small, but my winners are going to be bigger. And then you work those beliefs in that to your existence. Okay. But I'm done, y'all. I'm done. I told y'all this is gonna be really, really quick, a really, really quick live session. Are there any questions? Do I have any questions from y'all? And I pray that y'all are doing good too, by the way. I really do. Pray y'all doing very well. James, me and you gotta get together. I gotta hear how your life been going, man. I've been missing you. I'm not on Facebook or Instagram. I still have my Instagram account, but I'm not on it as actively as I used to be. I haven't been active on Instagram in a while, actually. I just been sticking to YouTube and trading view and keeping my head down trading. Just living life. Living life. But we definitely need to get together and catch up on life. Okay, any questions, y'all, before I go? Because if not, we're gonna keep it moving. And then if you do want to get in contact with me, y'all, just inbox me. Whether it's on TradingView, my email, we can chat it up. All right, I don't see no questions, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all how I tell my people. I think y'all good then. I think y'all good. All right. So I'm about to get up off of here. I'm about to go chill before my daughter gets home because I know when she get home, she gonna be loud. I pray y'all have a safe trading week. And hey, the markets are being generous to us this week. I pray y'all making money. All right. So y'all be blessed, and I'll talk to y'all in the next live.